So I'll be talking later in the show about how I think Susan Lee and the Liberal leaders should be addressing the whole issue of emissions, seeing particularly at the federal level where they have said no to net zero quite rightly, but they're still stranded with this Paris Agreement nonsense. But Caroline, tell us, Kelly Sloan there, is that convincing? She's not abandoning net zero, but she's trying to kind of say, well, we're looking after costs. She's trying to do both things at once.
Well,
is it successful?
No, I think she needs to land on a firm policy position on this, and I hope that she comes out the way the Federal Party has come out and is against net zero. But she's been in the position for 5 minutes. She's been there for 2 days. Susan Lee how long was she there for before they came up with... Give her a chance. Like, she is from the moderate faction. I like Kelly Sloan on a personal level. She is my local member. For which she's been criticised for, you know, the member for Vaucluse.
She's been criticised for being your local member.
I know,
those snowflakes, you know, there you go.
The member for Vaucluse, which I think is really unfair because I do think that she comes from a public education background. She talked about that. She's worked in lots of different industries. She hasn't always just been a career politician. I think she's impressive and I think she can get the party there. But the problem is that, I mean, our elections are further away, but we've got a first-term government here, Labor government. The Premier, Chris Minns, he's very good. He's very likeable. He's from the right, the Labor Party. It's a very different situation to Victoria. So I don't think the Liberals here actually have as much chance in some respects as they might have in Victoria if they put up a good opposition and give people
Rita,
an alternative there.
Are you buying the Kelly Sloan?
I think... I don't know the lay of the land as well as Caroline and yourself, given your locals, but to me, she's more impressive than her predecessor. I think she will be a better communicator.
Now you're setting the bar very, very low. I got to tell you.
Well, we're talking about state Lib parties. I mean, the expectations are low, and somehow they still manage not to meet them most of the time. I think she could. I mean, I think the whole her seat, whether that works against her, is very fascinating because I think again that's a very Sydney thing that you've got this super affluent area that most people could not imagine ever affording to live there, and if that's the local member, you know, how well does she really understand the struggles of people in the outer west?
Having said that, there are a lot of, I mean, there's still public housing in the area. There are still people who aren't, I take your point, it is the richest area in Australia, but it is also has a whole wide demographic of people there. I think the name recognition will really help her because most people would struggle, even in Sydney, if you ask the person on the street, they're not politically engaged like our viewers would struggle to identify who Mark Speakman is, but they would know who Kelly Sloan is, and that does really help.
It does, and I think she's a warmer, more likeable character than, say, Jess Wilson, and again, that could be Jess's inexperience, but she does come across as very robotic, and, you know, her background isn't exactly terribly rich, full of experience. You know, she's worked as a staffer. She was part of an industry body, and you know, she's now leading the opposition. So, I think Kelly Sloan, if I were a betting woman, which I'm not, I would be backing her to perform better. But obviously, she's got the enormous hurdle of having a first-term Labor government led by someone who is enormously popular and a very good politician. You know, again, people who are not all that politically engaged would look at Minns and just say, he seems like a good bloke. Yeah. He's someone I could have a beer with. And that is invaluable in politics.
And to be honest, he is a good bloke. It is hard to fault him on a lot of things. She's lovely. He's lovely. It's going to be
Can you send one of them to Victoria? Either one. Just send one of them to Victoria because both of ours...
This is all too lovey-dovey for me.
I know,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Rowan.